There's kind of all the same shades that the Bruins wore for that outdoor game a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have 4 pairs.
There's a retro feel to that too. So
yeah, it was like the 80s theme.
Yeah.
They all wore pit vipers, and these ones are just clear. And I never wear them, but I apparently collect pit vipers. These ones are polarized, so when I eventually start fishing again, I might end up wearing these fishing because you can be able to see through the water, like right under the water when they're polarized.
Oh, or when you're just, jeez, I don't know. I had something for that related to snowboarding, but I didn't have the right verbiage to bring about a proper joke for it, so I just
Pit Viper makes snowboard goggles, I believe, but like the snowboard goggles that I use Spies.
Spies?
Yeah, Spy. Sunglasses brand, but they make the in my opinion, they make the best goggles. They make my favorite goggles at least.
And she works at Zoomies, ladies and gentlemen, so she knows a thing or two about eccentric sunglasses.
Yeah, and even though I live in Texas, I did used to work at a Zoomies in Colorado, so know a thing or two about snowboard goggles.
Exactly. Yeah.
I put my real glasses back on so I can actually see. Oh, hey, Drew.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah, it's episode 11 of the AHL pre-show here. We're in conference finals. It's someone called the Final Four. I'm not huge on basketball verbiage, but I mean it's true, so I guess it all makes sense anyway. And I loved our theme of the Wild West, and I think we're gonna keep it going on this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yippee-Ki-Yay, hockey watchers.
I like what you did with that. Kept it nice and family friendly. That's how we do it.
It like they do on the television.
So let's start with, first off, that Friday night in Grand Rapids that I was a part of. Holy shnikes, that was some of the most electric vibes I've felt in all of my years on the beat here. That Griffins Admirals game 4, where you want to talk about a roller coaster, this Griffins team going down 2-0 just to drop 4 goals in the third period. And of course, 3 of them one more time for the season. Look at this guy. Look at these guys. One more time. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yanni Berggren was as hot as hot could be in that third period. And okay, so they officially changed the scoring on one of the goals and gave it to Marco Kasper. There were still hats thrown. It was a Jonathan Berggren hat trick. Let's be real here. But either way, 3 points in that game got the Griffins all level and forced a game 5 in Milwaukee. And for as electric as that scene was in GR, unfortunately, they just couldn't, they ran into a really good goalie in Troy Grosnick, and, Milwaukee limited their chances. They buried when they could. And, it was a great season for Grand Rapids, but all good things got to come to an end, and the Admirals are moving on. It broke my heart. It really did. I tried not to get too attached to this team, and what do? I get romantic about hockey, and then my heart gets broken.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
All accusations are alleged until proven one way or another in a court of law.
I had to apparently be crying in Dee's living room in order for my grief to be real.
It's true. If I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
I'm fine, man. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, deserved advancement from the Admirals. They for sure, I don't know, they put their entire hearts and souls on the ice. Definitely the more, not necessarily the more deserving team, but the one that battled the hardest. Definitely got the win. No upsets, no, man, I didn't see that coming. Everybody loves a Cinderella story, but sometimes you just feel really vindicated when you see a team that is just clawing their way through the ranks, actually make it to like the next round. It's the way it should be.
I agree. I think in terms of consistency, for sure, is where Milwaukee really impressed me because Grand Rapids did a really good job of kind of striking when the iron was hot. But other than that, they really felt like they were kind of weathering the storm against Milwaukee, like and consistently, period to period, game to game. And when the window was open, they struck, and actually they had 2 power play goals, which fueled the comeback. And that was as incredible as a sight as I could believe. I didn't know Grand Rapids could still score power play goals, but I was treated to not 1 but 2 to tie that game up. And
they saved all the power play goals for when you were there.
Well, I'm honored, but
your fault, honestly. It's Drew's fault.
It's not if anything, okay, it could be my fault that I didn't show up more, but I have a day job, man.
Nah.
I wish, but anyway, it's when you look at where this team was for the last couple of years, yeah, you didn't get the result you wanted in Game 5, but this year was very much about kind of rebuilding that culture back in Grand Rapids, a culture of a winner that has seen a couple of Calder Cups come through this franchise. And the last 2 years were really tough. They were really tough. I had a firsthand account of some of those vibes in the locker room, and they were not great. So it's been a complete culture change there for the Griffins. Not the way that you want to look at season's end, but I mean, of course, it's only one of 32 teams that end up hosting the cup at the end of the day. So you got to be proud with where they've gone. And, unfortunately, we've probably seen our last Yanni game. Yeah, one more. I said the last one was the last one, but I can't really put them down. Seen a lot of good progress, a lot of young players, a lot of the staff has been kind of reinvigorating that energy. It's looking bright here for the Griffins going forward. I in my humble opinion.
At the end of the day, consistent development's the best you can hope for in the AHL.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, winning the championship is great. It teaches players a winning mentality, what it takes to get there, how to battle through a never-ending amount of rounds. Apparently, mm-hmm. They just keep adding more rounds every year. It teaches them how to battle through that adversity. But at the end of the day, the progress, the development, not only of the players, but of the team itself, is the best you can hope for. Mm-hmm. You just keep getting better at developing players as you learn and make adjustments and get unaffiliated and then reaffiliated. And then, just that's the positive outcome at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think it was really kind of in the manner of which the Griffins were able to claw out of that hole back in December, where they were 6th in the division, move all the way up to the 2nd there in the second half of the season, coming back from, 2-3 goals down in the third period to just battle back. That was the resiliency is really the story of their whole season. So, they fought to the end. Milwaukee fought a little harder. They're a bit of a better team. It's just, not every Cinderella slipper fits. So it's okay. It's okay. But
yeah, Milwaukee brought a trebuchet to a slingshot fight.
And that slingshot still went for 5 games. So
yeah, I mean, hey, David beat Goliath with a slingshot.
Great season for Grand Rapids. Even brighter hopes for next season. Now, the teams that are still playing hockey, we talked a lot about Coachella last week. They're back, and Milwaukee, we have a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. So, second verse, same as the first. We're already a couple games in, and we're kind of following the script from last season, where we got Coachella Valley, Game 1 win. 2-1 was the final. Chris Drieger was incredible again. And, I want to talk a little bit about Zach LaRue, because he was an absolute factor in that Griffin series. And sometimes not always for the right reasons. And you're kind of seeing him get in trouble again here against Coachella. And I know it's only game one. I mean, I don't want to. The thing is that this kid's an incredible player, and I want to talk about his game and how like he's just the consummate playoff performer. And this is kind of part of his game, though, the talking, the yapping, the getting in your face. I kind of want him to tone it down a bit, but I think if he tones that down, he's not as active in the game, play by play, game by game. So I might encourage him to do it more, and especially now that Grand Rapids isn't at the other side of it now. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Definitely, he's one of those players where you can tell he goes out there and leaves his all on the ice. He's so emotionally invested in the success or the failure of his team. And then that's where it comes from. It's not necessarily that I mean, at least I don't think. I have never spoken to the man. But what it seems like, the way it comes across is that he's so emotionally invested in the success or the failure of his team that he cannot help the emotions. It's just a part of it. It's not that he's trying to be disruptive. It's not that he's trying to be a pest. It's more just that he is so 100% in on whatever they're selling. He's bought it. He's here for he's a team guy. He lets his emotions run high, which helps him play better hockey, but also helps him get into some trouble and sees him get put in skate timeout for a while.
And he's got just that great big wide smile whenever
the entire time.
It's
entire time.
I'm so glad I can actually appreciate it now, because watching it from the Griffin side, it's just oh, this guy's kind of rattling me here, but now no vested interest in it. It is, again, I want to see him do it more. So
yeah, it's like watching Matthew Tkachuk play.
Exactly.
You're like, man, I hate you when you're playing against my team, but you are so incredible to watch play hockey when I do not have a stake in the other way.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. This kid's he's built for this time of the year too, and this is right when those emotions kind of they become an animal of their own, and he has the ability to absolutely take over games, or he has the ability to hit the showers early. But either way, it's going to be fun.
He's for sure going to be a difference maker for his team. Now, whether or not that means that's good or that's bad, it's going to be a game breaker. Either way, that's the thing. Milwaukee has to watch their discipline. They have to stay out of the box. If you give Coachella Valley an inch, they'll take a light year. That's a bit distance, right? That's distance.
It's right? Distance, yeah. A lot of people use it for time.
Yeah, it's distance. If you give them an inch, they'll take a light year. They are going to trample you into the ground. They are so good on the power play. They are so good. Yeah. Any time you give them any kind of momentum, you have got to watch the discipline against Coachella Valley and keep your skilled players on the ice. And LaRue is one of the skill players. He's going to have to stay on the ice as much as possible.
Yeah. So we are recording this Friday evening. Game 2 is going on right now.
Yeah, sorry. That's my fault. I had to close at work and the Wi-Fi bill didn't get paid or something. I don't know.
Life happens. We're here and we're living in the moment. But Coachella Valley is up 3-1 after 2. And I don't think Milwaukee got your advice in time, because we recorded on Friday instead of Thursday, because they did take a couple penalties and they did get a power play goal score against them.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to tell that. That's on me. I'm so sorry, Milwaukee. You guys have beer, I think.
It's Wisconsin.
Love that for you. Oh, so cheese for sure. No, because they have the Brewers, right? That's
right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's beer.
Okay. Beer, lake water, it's Midwest as it gets. I kind of dig it.
I love that for you. You can come out of the West being in dead center of the Midwest, and I would love that. So with Milwaukee, stay out of the box, my friends.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's
Oh,
still
no.
20 minutes to go. There's a lot of hockey to play
Yeah,
for.
on the flip side, I mean, it's only like
It's 2 goals
in an intermission. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Okay, Coachella Valley. I don't know how many times we can just continue to say that Coachella Valley plays the most complete style of hockey in the West. Wait, how many times was that? That's gotta be a record.
Yes, like every episode, it's as consistent as it gets here. But I mean, clearly you can see they value that up at the NHL. They're bringing Dan Bilesma is going to be coaching for the Kraken there. And this is kind of like his showcase. Like, okay, here's how I want my team to play, and if you can tell, it looks pretty good. So,
decent. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, they're like alright at hockey. I could do that.
So, Coachella again, kind of in the driver's seat, really, to maybe get another shot at knocking off the Hershey Bears. But we're at 7-game series now, so there's a lot of hockey.
To be played, but also like what's gonna be the downfall? Like, it doesn't seem like anything that we have said could possibly be an Achilles heel for these flaming government drones is actually being listened to. Firebirds is actually being listened to. It doesn't seem like even if the teams have tried to do exactly that, because we've come on and been like, hey, they tried, but they failed. So what's gonna be like? What is the Achilles heel? How do you get their skates stuck in mud? Short of filling them with mud, how do we get them stuck in mud?
Right. I guess like your hope is that it would just get too hot in the desert and the ice wouldn't be that good and it'd be bouncing all over the place. You get a playoff bounce, a carom off a stanchion or something. But they're firing on all cylinders right now. Like what do you do to stop that? It's there's keys that I guess it's just one step at a time. Like, because if you try and focus in and key in on one style to try and shut them down, they're going to kill you in 5 other different ways. Yeah. So you just gotta take it shift by shift and like one step at a time. If you start thinking about the bigger picture, that bigger picture is going to swallow you. So you gotta fight the little battles and hope that it builds up to something greater, because every other big brain move is just not working against this Firebirds team right now.
Yeah. I think that's probably like part of the issue, right? Like, you go in and you're like, oh, it's the Firebirds. Like, oh, we got to play the Firebirds. We got to figure it out against the Firebirds. You just keep getting frustrated, and they're not like actively doing anything except playing hockey. It's not like they're putting people in anybody else's faces and like getting to them to the point where they want to do something and they end up taking the penalties. They just are playing hockey and end up, I don't know, on the positive side of the calls. Like, listen, that's like, this is not a discussion about officiating. This is simply like pointing out that they, without even doing anything that you can specifically pinpoint, force you into situations where you have to take the hook, you have to trip the player, you have to hold the stick, you have to do these things in order to defend your zone. They literally without having somebody who's just like swirling around and like being all up in your business, and like they're just playing hockey. They're playing complete hockey. You that's like, how do you break through that mental block of like, oh, first of all, we're playing the Firebirds. This is the hottest team in our conference, possibly in the league. We are like, we know. Okay, I did it again. I gotta stop counting with my thumb like a German. I gotta stop being German for a second. Hold on. All right. We know that they have such a propensity toward making sure their opponents are super frustrated. like how do you break through that and say, okay, I understand that we have to be emotionally invested in this, but we cannot let our emotions get the best of us.
I guess you gotta. I would say maybe try and rattle them off their game. Maybe LaRue is onto something without getting yapping at the refs. Don't yell at the refs. The refs aren't your enemy. Yell at go to the other team. Get under dig under their skin. You got 7 games for this, okay? I know if the results hold and Coachella is up 2-0, you got 3 games back in Milwaukee. So we've seen this team go down early, then turn it back home, and then run right through an opponent. Coachella Valley's not unbeatable. Last year they were up 2-0 over Hershey, and guess who ended up winning the Calder Cup? So
was it Coachella Valley?
It was not. As a matter of fact, we can ask our good friend Corey Swartz here once we're done recording. He'll remind us. Don't worry.
No, yeah, exactly. They're not unbeatable. Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee stands a chance.
Mm-hmm.
They stand a chance. It's just that the penalties, they take a lot of them. And the only reason that we noticed that Grand Rapids was not figuring out the power play is because they had a ton of opportunities to mess it up. They had a ton of opportunities to not get better at the power play because Milwaukee is not the most disciplined team. Unfortunately, they have to be the most disciplined team because Coachella Valley is. I mean, they're not perfect. They get penalties. They go on the penalty kill. They give their opponents opportunities. But when they go down a man, it doesn't seem to matter. You cannot give them any opportunity to play anything other than 5-on-5.
And they say that obviously it's the old adage, right? Your goalie's got to be your best penalty killer and all that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, Chris Drieger has given up, 3 goals in a game 3 times in this postseason. So when you see Coachella Valley going up 3-1 at home, you kind of feel like, all right, well, now we're just going to put it in his hands and he's going to shut the door. I mean, the team's going to help him out in front of him, which they've done a spectacular job of. But it almost feels like, this is kind of not the nail in the coffin, but when you have 3 goals, it's like, all right, well, game kind of.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where that ability to fight through the adversity gets tested. Mm-hmm. This is when you find out what you're made of. This is where you get a real sense of whether or not that you're good at hockey, but whether or not you can withstand the pressure of professional hockey in North America. Mm-hmm. It's like we have the best hockey in the world. Players from all over the world come to North America to play hockey. It's not like everybody's flooding in to Sweden or to Finland, or I would say not to Russia, but you kind of
the situation is a little murky these days.
You mess it up a little bit. When you an NHL contract and you try in the AHL and they're only giving you league minimum and it's cheaper in the AHL than it is in the NHL, and you're like, all right, I'll try the ECHL. The ECHL has open tryouts and you don't make it because they know the kind of player you are. So you're like, all right, maybe the SPHL. And you're like, no, not the SPHL. I don't really like having to pay for all of my own travel. So I think I'm going to go to Sweden, and Sweden doesn't want you. So you go to Finland, and Finland's like, actually, you know what? We're super blessed. Thank you. So you're like, you know what? Who has a million teams and not all of their prospects are leaving to go to North America? Russia. I think I would like to play for the Red Army.
Back in the day, probably. I don't know about
Hello, hello, welcome to the life cycle of a former NHLer with D. I don't really think that's exactly what happens. This is a dramatization of the possibility of the process, but and it's not the player doing it; it's the agent. But yeah, we have the best hockey in the world in North America. We have the best professional development in North America. Sure, players get developed to the professional stage, but once they are professionals in North America, they continue to be developed. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, we have the best hockey in North America. So when you go down in a series, when you hit the adversity, it isn't so much that you have to look inward and kind of analyze whether or not you're good at hockey. It's time for in between those games to start watching the individual tape, to realize like, hey, I didn't do this. I did not do this well. Here's what I could have done better. The entire team does that. They get together, they battle through the adversity. It's where you realize just how much pressure you can stand before you break.
Yeah, this is other than the NHL playoffs. This is as intense as it gets in this sport. So that's what you want for a lot of these young players. But unfortunately for Milwaukee, there's a big one who's not as involved, and this kind of takes some of my faith in the Admirals' chances of moving on and a bit of a hesitation. Yaroslav Askarov got hurt in that Game 4 against Grand Rapids, and here we are, Game 2, Western Conference Finals, teams down. He's still not in the lineup, and that's not to say that Troy Grosnick hasn't already been awesome in this series, but look at how the crease has looked for Milwaukee in the playoffs. Start with Askarov, go to Grosnick, go back to Askarov, go back to Grosnick. I feel like this team really kind of moves with those ebbs and flows of kind of who's the hot hand in net. And we'll see if Troy Grosnick obviously has been a vet that's been as dependable as it gets in this league for years and years. Not to say he's not capable of taking an entire series by himself if need be, but I feel like that the motion of the notion of your ocean was just moving really nice for Milwaukee when they were able to go back and forth there. Now that you're kind of like stuck on one guy, I wonder if that's going to stick the Admirals.
Maybe, but it could also motivate. It could very well also motivate. Just because, they're used to kind of having the choice. They're backed into the corner of one of those players at this point. Even though they're used to having the choice, I mean, does it maybe force your defense to play a little bit better, to play a little bit smarter, to defend the crease a little bit more, to clear it out a little bit more? Does it maybe incentivize you to get some goal support on the other end? I mean, probably. It probably does. So sure, yeah, they're used to kind of being able to go back and forth. All right, well, you had a bad night, so we're gonna put, buddy old pal in. But just because they don't have it doesn't mean that they're. It's not like they're bringing in some fourth string goalie. This is not a goalie that they haven't played in front of all season. It's not like somebody that they acquired at the trade deadline. And so they don't really have an understanding of how they need to play in front of them. This is somebody they've been playing with from the beginning. This is somebody that they've played in front of a lot, and somebody they've played in front of in this playoffs.
Take note, Texas Stars. Third stringer in a deciding game, probably not a great idea. So for Milwaukee, Milwaukee's got the exact opposite of that. They got Troy Grosnick. I think they'll be fine.
No, I think they'll be fine too. And that's why, sure, could it hurt their chances because they're overthinking things? Sure. But is it all? I mean, I don't know if it's so much not having Askarov as it is the nurse. That's what I was saying earlier. The nurse that like you're going up against the reigning conference champions. You're
Yeah.
going up against a team that has had no trouble getting through anybody in this playoffs. Like they lost. You can count it on like half a hand.
I mean, they've won. I want to say Drieger's won 7. I don't even know how many. Hang on, I gotta see the guy. I gotta count. It's all about counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, he's got 7 straight wins on looking pretty good for 8.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah,
it's nerves. It's a daunting task. You're staring down. It's like when, all right, who's ready for these pop culture metaphors?
I knew it was going to come eventually.
It's like when in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, buckle in, folks. When the Power Rangers when Rita Repulsa would send a monster down to Earth from the moon, right? And the Power Rangers would be like, oh no, it's a monster, and maybe get their butts kicked the first time by the monster. Then they go to Zordon, and Zordon's like, it's Rita's monster, so-and-so. And they're like, okay, cool, how do we beat it? And they're like, oh, well, he's like eating people and turning them into pumpkins. And if they stay pumpkins, then they stay pumpkins. So we gotta like defeat him before this clock runs out. Now they're not Cinderella anymore. Yay. Right? They defeat him, and then Rita's like, no, Finster, you made me a really bad monster again. And Goldar's like, haha, you did it this time. And then she's like, it's okay, I know what to do. Make my monster grow. But you're the Little Rangers, right? Staring up at a 20-foot monster. All you gotta do is call for the Zords.
I'm trying to follow the analogy as best I can.
Oh, okay. So the Firebirds are the now 20-foot monster.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
All Milwaukee has to do is call for the Zords. And if you catch them in the correct part of the first season, they've got the Green Dragon Zords. So, like, just find your Green Dragon Zord, Milwaukee. I believe in you.
Who is the Green? Is it LaRue? Is it Troy Grosnick? Is it Askarov that comes out of nowhere?
That would be more apt to the metaphor because
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that's the
yeah, Tommy was like he came out of nowhere. He was evil. So
okay, I'm following along now. I can support this reference.
Find the tools you already have. You don't have to go to Home Depot and buy new tools, or Lowe's, or Ace, the place with the helpful hardware folks. If that's where you go and buy your tools, you don't have to go buy new ones, right? Use the ones you already have that have gotten you to this point in the playoffs. Use them in a new way. Put them together and make the Megazord.
Okay, I'm again
Dude,
love the analogy
as a youth hockey coach.
Oh man, I can already see like the required watching of Power Rangers on bus trips and for tournaments. Oh yeah, I can see it.
I have whole seasons of Power Rangers Mystic Force and Power Rangers SPD on DVD.
Oh boy. Long season.
but you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
It's not insurmountable. You have to just take the things that have made you successful in this playoffs against good goalies, against hot goalies.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take those things that have made you successful already in the playoffs and retool them, rework them, find your confidence in them again, because it's a daunting task to be stared down by the Coachella Valley Firebirds. I wouldn't want to do it. No. That is a team that I think knows each other better than they know themselves individually.
Mm-hmm.
It's a daunting task, and Milwaukee can do it. It's just that they also have the little nagging in the back of their mind that they already lost one. They might be going down a second one. But they can do it. I have faith in Milwaukee. Do I want to see Milwaukee upset Coachella Valley? No, because as everybody knows, I've been on the Coachella Valley train since the playoffs started. But I think they can. I think they can brave little toaster it.
I can appreciate it. I kind of am rooting for them after the Griffins went down, just so I can say like, well, at least the Griffins lost.
Oh, yeah, at least they went on to win the cup.
That's one of those things. Andrew Podorowski has knocked Dustin Wolf out of the playoffs for 3 straight years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
He's
like,
yeah.
Impressive. I'm sorry.
He's knocked the Milwaukee Admirals out of the playoffs the last 2 years, and he's looking pretty good at 3 straight here right now. I am sure no one hates Andrew Podorowski more than the Milwaukee Admirals, except maybe Dustin Wolf.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, when you, I believe they have a road to battle back that's capable, but man, he's the X factor for this Coachella team. He always has been, and he scored 30 seconds in the game too tonight, and if that wasn't a tone setter, I don't know really what to tell you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm in a lot of the series that we have covered thus far, it's been the goaltending is going to make a difference because these teams don't really have that much like firepower, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Except for Milwaukee has the firepower. Coachella Valley has the firepower. And they both have the goalies. The difference this time around, the defense is going to be the deciding factor. It's not the goalies, and it's not whether or not they can get some depth scoring like it has been in most of the other rounds that we've talked about. This one's gonna be defense. Whose defense can lock down the defensive zone better? Whose defense can clear the crease better so that their goalies can do their jobs? And whose defense can manage to stay disciplined?
I think when this series turns to Milwaukee, it's going to look different. I think Milwaukee's gonna come at them intensely on the forecheck. I think it's going to make their life on the road a little difficult for Coachella. A lot of difficult for Coachella, actually.
Difficult for Coachella.
Oh yeah. But at the end of the day, they still only have 3 to Coachella's 4 at home. I think Coachella's got the more consistent netminder. It's hard for me not to go with the Firebirds in this one. It really is. I'm looking for reasons to get Milwaukee. If they had Askarov to just throw the dice in on him every now and then, I would totally change, because he was incredible against Grand Rapids. And that the floodgates didn't really start to open for that comeback. I mean, it was 2-2, but you feel like maybe Milwaukee could have battled and then won another one in overtime there, but he injures himself, 2 quick goals right after that, and that was it. And you just hoping maybe he can come and be a factor later on in this series, but that's just a huge loss. I know Troy Grosnick's one of the best goalies in the league, but I feel like there was something to that tandem that they had going there.
No, yeah, I feel that.
Yep.
There's an echo.
There's an echo?
A little bit.
Are you in a cave?
Okay, wait. I think it's gone.
Okay.
Whack. I hate technology.
You just always have some kind of weird phenomenon going, whether it's like a tornado or what.
I could hear myself. Oh, I woke up to hail this morning.
Oh boy, how was that?
At 6:30 in the morning. I'm awoken from a dead sleep, 6:30 in the morning, because I hear something pinging off of my bedroom window, and it's not like the normal raindrops. We have like big rain here, so
everything's bigger in Texas.
They ping off of the window. The raindrops do.
Mm-hmm.
I heard something actually like hitting the window, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's like a little something something from the little baby oak tree that we have. Maybe like acorn or something, right? No, it's hail. So I walk out to like the backyard, and we have like a gazebo on the patio instead of like a pergola because we need like full shade because Texas. And you can hear it because it had a tin roof, just like thunking off of the roof. My mom, because I live with my parents, even though I'm almost 30, because the economy is awful. My mom like comes out of her room too, and she's like, "That's hail." And I was like, "Yes, mother."
I heard.
Everybody knows.
I as a matter of fact, I can hear it.
But yes, I was awakened.
Oh.
I was stirred from my gentle slumber abruptly by the falling of the precipitation known as hail.
That I prefer that.
It was awful.
Oh man.
I think we would be remiss not to take just like a quick little peek over at the East, considering that they have played a game. That one came down to overtime. Wild, absolutely bonkers on that one. Cleveland, yes. I don't know why I second guess everything. Cleveland is not going down without a fight against Hershey. They might not have taken it, but they 100% put in a good enough showing to build some confidence going into game 2.
That's a long series. So we got 7 games now. So, yeah, that was a tone setter that neither team's going to be backing down. This is going to be a long one. You know what? I'm going to go on record. Go Monsters. I kind of want to see a different team.
Let's go Monsters.
Go Monsters. Yeah. Okay. We're in agreement there.
Yeah,
cool. Sorry, Corey.
No. The Monsters have been so much fun this season. Ups and downs, roller coaster rides aside, like they have battled it out. And yeah, they more than deserve to be here. They stand so much of a chance against Hershey. In the immortal words of Helmut Simo from Captain America Civil War, I would like to see an empire fall.
Again, I was wondering where you were going with that, and then it's just oh man. I think we got to end the episode on that. I think this empire just fell.
I've been awake for a long. I've been awake since 6:30 this morning because there was hail, and I worked 8 hours, 8 hours in retail. My brain is fried, folks.
Yeah, we're gonna go put you to sleep. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dee.
And thanks again for joining us this week.
Let's see if it'll work.
Get some.
No, there's like a thing.
And yeah, there it is. Get some. That's how we're ending it.